Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Vikings Spin. I'm your host Jason, and in this episode we're going to take a look at the mock draft that we put forward last week. We're going to go over the picks from that mock draft, our first picks, and then also give an alternate pick in each of the selections to see what if we were to go with a similar type player at that position. So let's start out with round two. The Vikings have the 48th overall pick, and in round two, in our mock draft, we had the Vikings taking Dan Feeney, right guard from Indiana. I think Feeney would fit in really well on the Vikings offensive line. He has got the ability to pull, a very athletic guard. For some of the power runs that we're going to do that have the guard pull. An alternate pick there, I would say, would be if Feeney is off the board, they could look at drafting Pat Elflein, who is a center with the ability to play guard. In that instance, they could put Elflein at center and play Joe Berger at guard, since Berger has experience at both positions. Or they could try Elflein at guard and keep Berger at center, but it does give them flexibility either way. If Feeney is off the board, they can still plug in that fifth starting offensive line spot. In round three, the first pick in round three, since the Vikings have two third-round picks this year, we have the Vikings taking Samaje Perine, a running back from Oklahoma. Perine would be a nice complement to Latavius Murray. Murray is, of course, an all-around back. He gives you speed, he gives you size and power, ability to catch out of the backfield and pass block. And then with the Vikings, two other running backs, of course, you have Jerick McKinnon, who is a scat back with a lot of speed, and Perine is a power back. He's somebody that can really help between the tackles and also on the goal line, where the Vikings had some problems last season. And Perine also is not a fumbler, so he's got good good ball control, and he's somebody that I think that could really help out the Vikings. He's also got the good ability to pass protect and catch the ball out of the backfield. If he's not there, or if the Vikings are looking to go in a different direction, they could look at, if they're looking at a running back in the third round, there is Marlon Mack, who might be a good fit. He's a a speed back, and definitely somebody that you would call a quote-unquote home run hitter, a guy that can take it the distance on any down. Figures to be a productive member of a backfield committee. Wouldn't be a bad pick there. Also, maybe Kareem Hunt. I know that's two alternative picks, but Hunt would be another power back if they're looking for that. It's a nice alternative there if Perine is off the board. Also in the third round with the Vikings' second pick, we have him looking. I have him looking at Gerald Everett at tight end. Everett is an athletic tight end. He is pretty much kind of like an oversized wide receiver. A lot of speed. Would be a really good seam buster for the Vikings to pair up with Kyle Rudolph. I think they could create a ton of mismatches in the two tight end sets against base defenses. They can either run out of those formations, or they could audible the tight ends out to the slots and create mismatches against the opponent's linebackers. Really like Everett there. There are some other tight end prospects available at that pick, or even in the fourth round. If they're looking to go in a different direction, I would think that Jordan Leggett would be there, who is a similar type player as Everett. In the fourth round, I have the Vikings with the first of their fourth round picks. They have two of those. Going with a defensive tackle. I like Elijah Qualls. That's the one we picked for our mock draft. Qualls has he's got really good size. He's 320 pounds, 6'1". He is a guy that can probably play either nose tackle or three technique. He would be a guy that if he plays three technique, he's going to give you some deceptive speed and pass rush ability. He's a guy that's able to move the pocket. He consistently drew double teams while he was playing college football with Washington. So he is also a space eater. The Vikings have those athletic linebackers that they like, and they like their big defensive tackles to keep the offensive linemen off the linebackers so they can make plays against the running backs and the quarterback. I think that Qualls would definitely be a space eater, and especially with Sharif Floyd's injury and him 6 months later not really still being fully recovered, I definitely expect the Vikings to address the defensive tackle in this draft, and I think Qualls would be a quality player there. Another defensive tackle that I like that they could probably get in the fifth round is J-Ron Jones. He's taller than Qualls. He's 6'5" as opposed to 6'1". He's got really long arms, batted down a lot of passes in college. He's a playmaker, pretty stout against the run as well, but maybe not as technically sound as Qualls. Maybe needs a little bit more development. But he's definitely a player that fits the mold of what they would be looking for in a three-technique defensive tackle. And then sticking with the original mock in the fourth round, I'm hoping he's there is linebacker Elijah Lee. You heard Mike Zimmer talking about hybrid players, like a hybrid linebacker safety. Lee, to me, is it. He is a linebacker, but really excels in coverage. He's a fast linebacker. He's got really good size for the will spot, 6'3", 220. So he's a really fast, athletic linebacker that can cover. And this is a guy that, if you were to have an injury, to Eric Kendricks or Anthony Barr, this is a guy that could step into the nickel and still give you a good cover linebacker. So a lot of those third linebackers are only two down guys. Lee is a guy that can probably stay on the field in coverage situations if you need him to. He's also good sideline to sideline and can rush the passer. The other player at that spot that could be there is Alex Anzalone, another similar athletic linebacker. Very similar to Lee. He would be my alternate pick. In the fifth round, in my original mock draft, I have the Vikings taking Nathan Peterman, a quarterback. Hoping that he's still there. He has been rising up draft boards lately, so he might be gone by the third or fourth. But if the Vikings can get him in the fifth, it'd be a great value there as a developmental quarterback to come in and be a backup at first. Peterman definitely has the skills to develop over time into a solid quarterback, be it a backup or borderline starter, in my opinion. Another quarterback to look at would be C.J. Beathard. I think he's rising as well. Right now projected to probably be a sixth round pick or even a seventh round pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if he sort of climbs to more of the fifth to sixth round range. He wouldn't be a bad pick there either. In the sixth round, I have the Vikings taking Austin Wacow. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The punter. I figure in the sixth round, if you're looking at offense or defense, you're probably looking at a backup developmental type player. But if you can get a starter in the sixth round, which in this case, of course, punters go later in the draft, and you've got a good one, he's supposed to be the best one in the draft, and the Vikings do have that opening at punter with Jeff Locke signing with Indianapolis in the offseason. So I think that would be a good value pick there for the Vikings. They can also look at, at a guy like uh, maybe TJ Logan as an alternate pick. He's a kick returner, running back, a scat back type. Not really going to carry the load for you as a running back, but has good value as a kick returner. Probably be had there in the 6th. And then in the 7th round, in our original mock draft, I had the Vikings taking Chunky Clements, a defensive tackle. He's what Mike Zimmer would call a nickel rusher type. He's a smaller defensive tackle, but he's got a lot of speed. Think Tom Johnson. Of course, Tom Johnson's 32 right now, and he's on the last year of his contract. So Clements probably wouldn't make the 53-man roster this year, but he's probably a guy that they could put on the practice squad for now and bring him in 2018 after Johnson's contract is up. So that's pretty much what we're thinking here for the Vikings Spin mock draft. So some of these possibilities here with the picks, and I think these guys would definitely restock the shelves, so to speak, for the Vikings, and I think it would round out the off-season nicely. We'll have to see if they make a few other moves here in free agency before the draft, but I think that would be a good way to end things with a mock draft like that. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be with you next time. Bye-bye.